I met a couple on the Sorrento Ferry that never made it to the other side. I always wanted to take my ute from Sorrento to Queenscliff by ferry. I booked a ticket online for the 6 p.m. voyage. It was the heart of winter, July the 31st to be exact. There was a light rain as I drove into the ferry. I made my way up to the middle deck where I found the cafeteria. I bought a pie and I sat by the window watching the clouds roll in above the water. There was a young couple in each other's arms in the table across from me. "The view never gets old," the guy said to me. I told him it was my first time on the boat. "Well, I'm Gary," he said, and introduced me to his wife, Rose. "I proposed to my wife on this ferry. I was a passenger and I worked here," Rose said, "but not today. We're on our honeymoon." I got my camera out and took some pics out the window. "I know a spot with an unbeatable view," said Rose. "There's a private observation deck just below the captain's bridge. I can take you there." I finished my pie and followed them up the stairs. I was led down a corridor. They went through a door at the end and it swung shut before I got to it. "You can't go out there," a voice from behind said. He pointed to the sign on the door that read, "Authorised personnel only." It was the captain. He headed up the stairs to the bridge. I turned back. Then I thought to hell with it and I went through that door. Gary and Rose were out there on the deck looking out at the spectacular view. I lifted my camera and I took a photograph. When I heard that voice again yelling from above, I looked up. It was the captain. I turned around. Gary and Rose had gone. I got the hell out of there. I ran down to the lower deck. Gary and Rose were nowhere in sight. I sat down with a book that I'd found on the history of Sorrento. I was wondering what happened to Gary and Rose, and as I flipped through the pages, my heart skipped a beat. A black and white photograph of the two of them. An excerpt from a newspaper article. "Newly married Sorrento couple missing. Last seen boarding the Sorrento Queenscliff ferry." The article was dated 31st of July 1996. I tore the page out and I folded it and put it in my pocket. I went to the foyer where I had seen framed pictures of the staff. The images went back years. Then I saw her, Rose, standing next to the captain, who had his arm around her. She didn't look comfortable. He looked a lot younger. I went to the gift shop, bought an envelope, and I wrote on it, "For the captain." I put the article in it. I went to the bridge and I slid it under the door. When we reached Queenscliff, I drove my ute out into the car park. I scrolled through my camera, looking for that photo that I'd taken on the deck. It was nothing but a spectacular view of the rolling clouds above the water. I lifted the camera to take one last image. Through the lens, I saw the captain emerge from the ferry. He reached into his pocket and opened the envelope. He looked out as if he sensed that he was being watched. I pressed the shutter. That look on his face, it told me everything that I needed to know.